Yippee-yay, there'll be no wedding bells for today. I got spurs that jingle, jangle, jingle,
jingle, jangle,
as I go riding merrily along.
Claptrap, me and Edie.
Who do I have to suck off to get a suicide bomber whose balls have dropped?
I know, just the right person you have to suck.
I mean, there must be 20 different types of... Jingle, jangle.
Why didn't I think of this sooner? It makes so much sense. Ugh, how could I miss it? These two games don't even need an intro from me, so let's just do this. New Vegas takes place in the desert, and for whatever reason, it is a untouched city just somehow. And there are two separate groups established, the New California Republic and the Legion. Of course, the Legion is the bad guys. That's not bullshit. And the Mahaji have sent you on a mission to send a message to the New Vegas Strip. But along the way, you survive being shot, which is sort of shocking, because that doesn't always happen. So you take it upon yourself to get some vengeance. And magically, that's all forgotten. Borderlands takes place on a planet named Pandora, and they're trying to search for a vault. Isn't that ironic? And we're guided by someone who looks just like my girlfriend, and she's referred to as the Guardian Angel. Of course, I don't want to spoil the rest just in case someone hasn't played one of the games, just for safety. In New Vegas, there's this cute little iBot named EDE, and I don't know, there's just something about him. Not gonna lie, the enemies are still as intense as any Fallout game, and a lot of them look intimidating, to be honest. The scorpions, even those little lizard guys. I mean, it looks like they want to give me a hug, and it's sort of weird to me. Why does every single creature now want to kill me? Did they just evolve or something? Thankfully, one of the companions that I chose, Raul, has got my back. But EDE, I'm sorry to say, Claptrap is a much more memorable character. And come to think of it, does anyone else think that the robot police guys from New Vegas look just like Claptrap? Claptrap, who's your daddy? Whenever I fight a boss in Borderlands, it feels like I'm taking on two Deathclaws with a pistol, like no joke. Remember Bonehead? Yeah, that is intense. And ironically, he is one of the first bosses that you encounter. Once you have the big guns, you will always stay as a king. One of my personal favorite weapons is the minigun. It'll literally kill any enemy in a couple of hits. And the heavy incinerator is also a pretty good choice. There's some pretty diverse weapons, and it's more than just bullets coming out of the weapons. For Borderlands, the game forces you to upgrade your weapons so that you get more damage against stronger enemies, which I love. In Fallout, it's a little bit easier to go around that, and that's because the enemies don't really get harder as they progress. It's mostly the same enemies, but in Borderlands, the enemies do get harder, and that sort of forces you to get a better weapon, and that sort of adds more fun to the game. #love. The graphics in Fallout seem to be up to date with 2010 standards. Like I said in the Fallout 3 vs GTA 4 video, the Fallout team tends to focus more on texture instead of like lighting and coloring. And I never said this before, but this could also be the size of the game, or this could be an attempt at bringing a more immersive experience, trying to make you feel like giving a sad feeling, because you would expect for there to be like happy colors, sort of like in Saints Row 4 when they show the president at the beginning of the game in some sort of imaginary pretend happy land that was very colorful and made you happy. But Fallout has all these like sad colors, so that could be the reason. And Borderlands has this surprising cartoonish style, which I actually like. I'm pretty surprised because I didn't really think that I would like it. And as you can tell, the textures are not as good as Fallout, but the lighting is great. This actually surprised me. According to Geek.com, Fallout New Vegas needs a 2 GHz processor, and you may be wondering, so what's surprising about that? When you see the Borderlands processor, you'll see that Fallout New Vegas actually needs less processing than Borderlands. It also recommends a 2GB RAM, which of course that is easy to do these days. Borderlands only needs a gigabyte or 2GB of RAM. It needs a 2.4 GHz processor, a 256MB video card or more. So yeah, according to today, very easy to do. A $300 computer could run this very fine. Same with New Vegas. Borderlands and Fallout New Vegas are totally labeled as classics. Sort of like the Beatles or rock from the 80s. 7 to 8 years after those games were released, we are still playing them and still talking about them like they were just released. They both do have their ups and downs. I have some complaints for both, but I also love a lot of stuff about both. For Borderlands, I love the challenge that they set, that I always have to upgrade my gun so that I can keep up with the enemies, and I can find new guns from them and sell them, and that I can drive a car around. I wish you could do that in Fallout New Vegas, just get an old working car, and I did try a mod and for some reason for me it didn't work, so I was like, screw it. But there is fast travel, so yeah. For me, the Borderlands characters are more memorable. Once again, EDE, please don't be offended. It's just the Guardian Angel and Claptrap. They are both much easier to remember. They're both a closer companion. They help you more. I know that Raul, you know, he's got my back when there's some enemies, but he's not really an important character. Like, if he was never in the game, nothing would change. Seriously. I feel like I'm totally just roasting Raul and EDE, but they are useless. And yes, EDE, you did help me a couple of times, but you didn't help me as much as my side bro and my side chick. Unlike Borderlands 2, I feel like there isn't that much of a diversity in weapons for the first Borderlands. I think that Fallout New Vegas totally takes this one. There's all sorts of RPLs, rocket propelled laser, I guess you could say. I guess now when you shoot enemies with an RPL, you could be like, hey enemy, take this L, ha 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 ha. Yeah. And in terms of performance, indeed, both of the games are pretty tied in that area. I'm pretty surprised that Borderlands has a higher CPU. I was totally expecting for Fallout New Vegas to be much higher than Borderlands, and they're basically equal. So that's basically it. I will see you guys in the next one.
Feeling like a hey, feeling like a dollars. Indian, good. Feeling like a